Hello, I'm Lee Cole, and today I'm going to talk about how to get young people involved in church. Now, I'm not an expert on this subject, but I am a young person. I'm 23 years old, and I have been involved in church for most of my life. So I feel like I have some insight from my experiences that could help church leaders to get younger people involved. Now, the overarching principle of getting younger people involved, I think, is that there is no one way. You have to take a variety of approaches, and today I want to share four of those with you. The first thing is the obvious thing for a lot of churches is contemporary music, or contemporary style worship. Now, this does help to get younger people involved because sometimes younger people won't like the older hymns and things like that as much. But this can't be the only thing that a church does. A lot of churches will try to change to contemporary music and just stop there. But contemporary music by itself will not get younger people to come. Also, in that, I don't think all young people are against traditional music. I think you can still have traditional music in a church worship setting and have younger people come, as long as they understand the traditions and understand the songs. And there are also a lot of their contemporary spins on traditional hymns and things like that. And I think a combination of that and contemporary music can help to bring younger people in. And also in churches with more liturgical settings, I think you don't have to completely do away with the liturgy. You don't have to get away from the traditional psalm readings and different things like that. But I think younger people a lot of times won't know as much why you do those things in the liturgy. So the liturgy, I think young people wouldn't be against traditional liturgy like that, but like the music, they would want to know why and want to know more background into it. Another obvious choice for churches is to lose formal clothes. Now, I know this is a big issue in some churches and not as big of an issue in others, but I think just our society that younger people live in, people don't dress up as much as they did in the past for anything, and a lot of times people aren't dressing up for their jobs, they aren't dressing up for school, so they're thinking, why do they have to come and dress up for church? And I think this can be a deterrent, and I've seen it in my personal life. People don't want to go to church because they say, a good excuse is I don't have anything to wear, or they just don't feel comfortable enough in a suit and tie to, it's already uncomfortable going to a church that you may have never been to before, and wearing a suit and tie makes the person even more uncomfortable. So I feel like going to more contemporary style dress and not, the church, most churches don't have a written dress code, but not having, unwritten dress code rules and kind of just letting everybody come as they are is helpful to get more young people into the church. My third suggestion is to make sure the church has ministries specific to younger people. The one of these that most churches have are student ministries or youth ministries. And I think this is very important for a church to have, and the church should make a financial commitment to have a youth minister and a good youth program that gets involved in the schools for middle school and high school students. And these families will bring the kids in, and kids will come on their own if there are good programs like these that kids want to come to. And the youth minister can push these, and once you get people involved, the other kids in the program will push these, and at school and in their social groups, and people will come because of that. Another ministry area that I think a lot of churches don't have are ministry areas for young adults, college-aged adults. And a lot of churches, I think, assume that a college will provide, these type of ministries. But if you live in an area where there is a college, I think you can still have a ministry at your church that people will come to, and that if people are already connected to the church, then it's easier to come to that than it would be to go to a college ministry where they may not know people. And if your church is not in a college town, I still think it's important to have this kind of ministry because not everybody goes to college, especially in South Carolina and in my hometown in the upstate. A lot of people go to technical schools. A lot of people just go to work after high school, and these people are kind of stuck in between, the youth ministry, and they're not married a lot of times yet. So I see that that's the age, the college age, for a variety of reasons, is the age that people get out of church a lot of times that have grown up in church. So I think if you start a college ministry, a Sunday school class or a ministry at another period of time, then it can really help to keep younger people involved through their college years, and then hopefully they will stay involved as they grow older. And the final suggestion today to get younger people to come into church is to keep the preaching relevant to younger people. We live now in a postmodern world where I think younger people are not as receptive to the traditional hellfire, brimstone type preaching that a lot of older folks may have grown up with. Younger folks haven't grown up with this type of stuff, and any kind of preaching really that is divisive. Now, I know I'm not at all saying that churches need to compromise the gospel or compromise any part of the Bible, but preachers should take caution to not assume that their congregation, if they're trying to get younger people in, is homogeneous and everyone has the same type of social and political beliefs, because if a preacher allows his social and political beliefs to creep into his preaching, then he can end up alienating a lot of these younger people who are more likely to have differing beliefs than some of the older people in the congregation. This is especially true of more traditional churches and churches in more rural settings where most of the people are the same. When you start getting new people in, you have people with new ideas, so preachers need to be mindful of that and preach the gospel without adding into it their personal beliefs that may be divisive and could turn young people away. I feel like these four things that I've just shared with you are good ways to get more young people involved, and that if you do them, then you can't do just one of them, but I feel like of these four and of other ways, take a variety of approaches, and that'll help get young people involved in your church.